President Joe Biden's nominee to become the next Secretary of the U.S. Air Force, Frank Kendall, has stated that he supports the service's current position that it needs to acquire at least 145 stealthy B-21 Raiders in the coming years. He made this statement about the B-21 fleet during a confirmation hearing before the Senate Armed Services Committee on May 25, 2021. Kendall told the gathered senators, "I think that it's a reasonable number at this point. We're a long way from achieving that, and requirements may change over time, but as a basis to manage the program, I think that's reasonable right now." Viewers may note that then U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff General David Goldfein had first publicly mentioned plans for a B-21 fleet with 145 aircraft during a separate congressional hearing in 2020. U.S. Air Force had till now stated that it was looking to acquire at least 100 B-21s. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why nothing will be able to stop the U.S. Air Force with a fleet of 145 B-21 Raiders. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer all Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. Anti-Access Area Denial A2AD system refuses the U.S. forces the ability to come within hundreds or even thousands of miles of an enemy's territory. Today, these high-end capabilities are being developed and deployed by countries like China and Russia, but they'll soon be available to others, as well as the proliferation of this technology is expected in the coming days. These capabilities include advanced integrated air defense systems with long-range engagement capabilities able to target and shoot down aircraft from hundreds of miles away. For example, Russian S-400 Triumph can detect targets at a range of 600 kilometers or 373 miles and engage them at a range of 400 kilometers or 250 miles. This is where B-21 Raider will come into the picture. It will fly deep into enemy airspace and take out the rival's A2AD capability and renders them partially defenseless and act as an enabler for other air combat systems. Apart from tactical and strategic bombing missions, the Raider is expected to be able to conduct surveillance, reconnaissance, intelligence, and electronic attack. B-21 is being developed under the Long Range Strike Bomber (LRSB) program. A request for a proposal to develop the aircraft was issued in July 2014. On the 25th of October 2013, Boeing and Lockheed Martin announced their teaming up for the LRSB. The other participant was Northrop Grumman. On the 27th of October 2015, the U.S. Department of Defense awarded the development contract to Northrop Grumman. The deciding factor in the selection of the Northrop design was the cost. The B-21 Raider is conceptualized to be a super stealthy bomber that will be able to penetrate the most sophisticated air defenses for decades into the future, and will be able to take out high-value enemy targets without the rival even knowing it was there in the first place. The bomber will have a very long range and high payload capacity to carry conventional and nuclear weapons. B-21 is expected to replace the U.S. Air Force's aging fleet of B-1, B-2, and B-52 strategic bombers, which have an average age of 27 years. B-21 Raider will go one step ahead of B-2 Spirit when it comes to stealth. Significant improvement is expected in the external structure. Radar-absorbing material that's used, as well as methods to reduce the heat signature from the engine. The bomber is being assembled at a secure, government-owned, contractor-operated facility known as Air Force Plant 42 near Palmdale, California, which is 3 million square feet of industrial space and is near Edwards Air Force Base. Currently, there are at least 2 B-21 prototypes known to be in various stages of production. The first flight could come by the end of this year. In April, Representative Adam Smith, a Washington Democrat who presently chairs the House Armed Services Committee, stated that, based on a briefing he had received, the B-21 program was on schedule. He had told that the briefing was one of the most positive, encouraging things that I've had happen to me in the last couple of weeks. Earlier this month, General Timothy Ray, head of U.S. Air Force Global Strike Command, also visited Plant 42 to get an update on the B-21 program. He stated that he saw the significant progress made on the build of the first flight test aircraft. Viewers may note that on January 31, 2020, the U.S. Air Force, along with Northrop Grumman, released 3 new renderings of the B-21. All of these featured the same artist's concept of the aircraft, photoshopped into real pictures of hangars at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota, Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, and Dyess Air Force Base in Texas. The B-2s remain the Air Force's best bet for penetrating through potent enemy air defense networks to carry out strikes, including those in service with near-peer opponents such as China or Russia. When B-2 Spirit was deployed, it was steps ahead of opposing tech, and the same is expected from B-21 Raider, as it's being designed so that it can accommodate the latest technologies. A fleet of 145 B-21 is 7 times that of B-2s, and this is a massive increase when it comes to penetrating bomber numbers. An important aspect to note that Russia and China has not yet developed a truly stealthy fighter, let alone a bomber that is generally larger and harder to make low observable. In this situation, it will be difficult for them to counter something that they haven't grasped properly until now. B-21 Raider's ability to carry both conventional as well as nuclear bombs will lend a lot of flexibility to the kind of missions it can undertake, and the large numbers will ensure they'll be available in required quantity.